Martin Jones, again, proving people wrong. And to me, it seems like there's just been so many things. Like, I feel like whenever you see that Martin Jones gets announced to start, or Alain Vigneault says it, or when the Flyers tweeted out that he's going to be the starter in net, there's such a negative thing. It's like, why? Like, I saw something today that was like, are the Flyers trying to hide Carter Hart from playing good teams? That's how crazy it's been, and how very like negative the fan base has been against Jones, and he's proved them wrong every single time. 31 saves tonight. He was fantastic in this one. This game was honestly, it was very similar to the last game that Jones played. And honestly, you got to think about it. The reason Jones starts this game, right, and the reason I'm opening talking about Jones is for a reason. Is the reason that he starts this game is because he hasn't played since last Thursday. And when you think about it, that's already over a week. And then the Flyers don't play again until Wednesday after tonight's game. So if he doesn't play, that's essentially he's looking at his first game in like 2 weeks coming up. Then next weekend, if he didn't play tonight and they started Hart tonight and then Hart Wednesday against Toronto, like that's a long time for a goaltender. So it made sense for Jones to play tonight, and he was fantastic. Lines were still the same for the Flyers: Giroux, Couturier, Konechny, Farabee, Brassard, Atkinson, Lindblom, Lawton, JVR. Brown ended up coming in. Obi-Kubel draws out. That was the only switch. So it was Brown on the left, Thompson down still at center, and then McEwen on the right. Provia, Braun, Sanheim, Risto, Yandel, and Sealer. And as I said, Jones was in net for this one. Honestly, first period, pretty good first period from the Flyers. They had a lot of the territorial advantage went to the Flyers. They had more shots. Capitals ended up getting a power play in the first couple of minutes here. There really wasn't much going. Not many chances for either teams. The Flyers, they started to get some zone time. Then after they took this penalty, Lawton had a slash on Ovechkin. Atkinson ends up having a breakaway. Ovechkin made a great defensive play to break this one up. He ended up having a one-timer that went wide, but ended up missing the net. And that was pretty much it from the Capitals. Flyers set up really good PK there. Couturier has a one-timer on a Konechny pass on a it was kind of like a 3-on-2. It was more like a 2-on-2 and then turned into a 3-on-2 as Giroux kind of entered the zone. But after that, the Flyers started to get their legs moving. They started to get into the game. Really good shift from the third line. Lindblom, he won a puck battle that he honestly probably would have lost last year. And that's one thing that I have noticed from Lindblom. He's won a lot of those battles in front of the net and things like that. And not even just in front of the net. Like, he's won more puck battles. You see he's physically getting there, and he's been very close to scoring goals. That line definitely is coming along, and they've had their chances. They've had the last 2 games. They had goals against Arizona and Pittsburgh. They did not get one tonight, but they had another solid game. Flyers definitely had a really good start in this period. First line has another good shift. Lawton then he wins a puck battle for a JVR shot. The Flyers had many chances, as I said. Big scrum here. Konechny had a chance on a wraparound. Sanheim ended up pinching off the faceoff. Giroux kind of held it and then dropped it to him. Sent it towards the net, just went wide. I honestly thought it went in, but it just missed the post. Leeson ended up getting stoned in front by Jones. It was kind of a weird play because the puck just kind of came out, and Yandel and Sealer both went to the same guy, so that kind of led Leeson to being wide open, but Jones made a really nice save there. Caps definitely had some pressure after that Konechny chance and kind of that whole sequence. And then the Flyers ended up getting a power play late here. Konechny drew an interference. They really didn't get much going from the second unit. Giroux hit a post on a slap shot there, and that ended up being the only Flyers power play of this game, so they didn't really get many chances. I thought there was a lot of calls, though, that did get they kind of just not called. The refs just kind of decided to put the whistles away at some points. There really weren't many penalties in this game. Caps only had 3 power plays. Flyers had 1, so it was only 4 penalties for the entire game. But overall, first period was pretty good for the Flyers. The only thing they needed was the first goal. And as I said, shots, they doubled the Caps in shots. Shots were 12-6 Flyers after the first period there. Second starts, they had 2 really good shifts by the second and the fourth line. They had many shots, lots of zone time. Caps would end up getting a power play, which was a bench interference call on Brassard because Hathaway was there, and Brassard kind of gave him a punch on the bench. So that obviously wasn't a great penalty to take. Flyers had a really good kill. Sanheim had a really nice stick on a Ovechkin attempted pass through the slot. Jones had a good save on Wilson, and I believe Jensen, but I could be wrong. I could have sworn it was Jensen. Maybe it was somebody else, if it was either Ovechkin or Jensen. But it was a right-handed player. I do know that. Really good first line shift there from the Flyers. After that, they really kept that one going. Second line goes out there and they get a goal. Brassard ends up scoring. He just fires a puck high. And the one thing I love about this is they won many puck battles. Brassard ended up finding Atkinson in front. Great save by Vanacek. Puck just kind of came out. Farabee and Ristolainen go over to it. They send it low. Atkinson wins another battle, sends it in front of Brassard. Bam, fires it high glove. And he redeems himself after taking not the greatest penalty, even though the Flyers killed it off. You don't want to take penalties like that, especially when you're not even on the ice. And, gets the goal there. Flyers are the 1-0 lead. They're now 6-0-1 this season when scoring the first goal. So that was obviously huge in this game because it was starting to get a little bit like the Arizona game. Like it was, a lot of chances for the Flyers, just couldn't necessarily score, and they finally get the goal there. Right after the goal, Jones had a really nice save on a Hagelin breakaway. Flyers were under a small amount of pressure. They kept really everything to the outside, though. Jones didn't have to make any really crazy saves or anything like that. He had a couple more good saves on the Capitals' fourth line. They definitely had a push. Flyers defended it well, and then they get another goal. First line with a really good shift. Ristolainen made a great play to A, just keep the puck in, and then B, seconds later, he was able to turn around, pick it up in his feet, fire it. It was a good save by Vanacek, and then Couturier ended up getting the rebound and slammed it through. 2-0 there. That was Ristolainen's first point as a Flyer, and his 200th NHL career assist. He had a really good game tonight. Him and Sanheim. Really, I thought everybody played well from the Flyers all around. The Caps were just getting slammed, really in the neutral zone and at the Flyers' blue line if they got there. Just very active sticks. Provy and Braun had a really solid shift here. And they followed that up with a good shift by the third line. They had another chance on a Ristolainen point shot that ended up just going wide of the right post there. Scrum at the end of the period, Ristolainen and McEwen were in the mix. You love to see that because it's a different looking Flyers team, more physicality, more things along those lines. And end of two, very good period from the Flyers, easily their best second period of the season. It was one thing that I had said last game that you want to kind of continue that. They didn't have a great second period against Pittsburgh. And here in Game 10, they have easily their best second period of the season. Shots on goal were 26-17 Flyers after two, 14-11 Flyers in that period. Now, as I'm sitting there on my TV, looking at my TV and the commercials coming up, I'm kind of just like stewing in my head of like a bunch of different things that could happen in this period. And I'm thinking to myself, the Capitals have to come out with a push and a lot of chances, and they did that. They had to push early. Sanheim had a block shot. Ristolainen made a really nice play to get the puck out of the zone. The Flyers still were defending the middle of the ice really well. They were able to really defend everything from, the perimeter where they had good sticks. They were very active, just making really nice, efficient plays. They didn't take many penalties, as I said. But the Caps ended up scoring. It was a really nice play by McMichael entering the zone to get around Keith Yandel. Kind of very similar to the Connor McDavid goal last night where he kind of went inside-outside and did that one around him. First of all, one quick thing. That McDavid goal was absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, McMichael makes a nice play. He sends it in front. And Leeson kind of just chopped at it. It looked like it went off Brown as well. It just kind of knuckled and just hit the side like mesh of the net and just kind of rolled in at that point. So 2-1, the Caps got one with a lot of time left. I was like, oh boy, let's hope they can, send this one out and not have to deal with a big Caps pressure after that. And then honestly, it felt like the Flyers were starting to get some offensive mojo then after that. Drew hit Couturier on a 2-on-1. They almost scored there. Really nice save by Vanacek. They had a couple good shifts. JVR had a really nice back chuck where he tipped an Ovechkin pass. Drew had ended up firing a slap shot wide off a play where Couturier just got it in the slot, had a chance to shoot. Drew opened up and just fired the slap shot wide there on the one-timer. Jones had a really nice save on a Sheary chance. As the Caps were kind of going in, Sheary just crept behind the Flyers D, and Jones made a nice save going post to post. They were under siege a little bit. You didn't want them to kind of just hang around, even though it kind of felt like that's what's happening. But the Caps almost tied the game. It was a play. It was just a scramble in front. Ovechkin was poking away. Kuznetsov, Carlson went in there, and Sealer ended up taking a penalty for holding the stick. And at this point, I'm like, oh, God, there's like 6 minutes left. They take the penalty. Jones had a handful of good saves, a very common net in this game. The goaltender, Jones here, was the best penalty killer. And that's one thing you hear a lot. Your goalie has to be your best penalty killer. In that sequence, 100% true. Jones made a handful of good saves on that penalty kill. Flyers had some good plays where they were very efficient at just, trying to block as many lanes as possible, because you have so many things with this Caps power play. Obviously, they don't have Backstrom, Oshie, and Mantha, so you're thinking to yourself, those are three weapons that you kind of take just out of the game and things like that. So obviously it's a shorthanded Penguins team before this, shorthanded Capitals team a little bit as well. So, like, when you're looking at their power play, obviously you have Oshie in the slot, obviously Ovechkin from his just patented spot where he just loves to shoot the puck, Karlsson, you have Backstrom, you have Wilson in the slot, so many things. And I mean, Christ, I didn't even mention Kuznetsov. So from there on, it's like, dude, but the Flyers, they were able to defend it well. They had a lot of plays where they were very aggressive with their sticks. They were just active in the lanes, everything along those lines, and they ended up killing that penalty off. They had some really solid defense late. Again, they defended the middle of the ice so well, and it's such like a 360, 180, whatever, like from last year, where like they're just so efficient at defending the middle of the ice. It was one thing they were so good at in the 2019-20 season. Defending the middle of the ice, not giving teams many chances, and if they did give up a chance, the goaltenders were there. That was the thing, and that's what I see. I honestly have thought, excuse me, can't even talk English, speak English, oh my god. It just seems like the Flyers are starting to get back into that rhythm and things along those lines, but Caps take a timeout with 2:09 left, then there's an icing with 1:07. They didn't really do much in that kind of span. Provorov was fantastic tonight, in my opinion. Had a handful of good plays where he was just able to just stick handle through pressure and just get the puck out of the zone. He made so many calm plays, so many plays where he just made it look effortless when he was getting the puck out of the zone. I've really, really liked Provorov with Braun in Ellis's absence. And speaking of that, the Flyers, they end up killing it off. They, stopped the Capitals surge late. They didn't really have many chances. Looked like the Flyers almost were going to score an empty net goal, but they didn't. Caps had a couple plays where they got it back, and that was it. The Flyers pick up a 2-1 win. As I was talking about Ellis, it doesn't seem like Ellis or Kevin Hayes are supposed to play on Wednesday against Toronto. That was supposed to be the dated slot for Hayes to come back, Hayes to come back into the lineup, and it doesn't look like that's going to be it. So we're going to have to see what happens in the next handful of days. But overall, I thought this was a very good game from the Flyers. You had a very good second period. It's a game to build on, and I didn't necessarily think they played horrible against Pittsburgh. It was just a lot of things, little things that kind of went wrong for them, and they didn't get as many bounces and such as well. But this is a very good road win, very good, team win overall. It definitely was a momentum builder, and as of right now, the Flyers are in third in the division. Still have some games left tonight. The Rangers do play tonight. They play Calgary. But as of right now, with 10 games played, the Flyers are 6-2-2 with 14 points. Carolina ended up having their first loss tonight. They're now 9-1-0 with 18 points. They ended up losing to Florida, who still is unbeaten in regulation. They're 10-0-1 with 21 points. They are just absolutely on fire. Best team in the league right now. Oilers are still up there, 9-1-0. So they've had some very good games. And, it's been a very fun start to the season here so far. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Remember, guys, podcast articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.